So do I go to my Facebook now?
Yep, go ahead and share it from your page. All right, we're getting ready to get started.
Now I need to scroll down and find us, right?
We're live, okay? We're live.
Okay. Hey
All right,
there.
all right. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, everyone. Well, I'm so excited to come to you on this evening. I'm extremely excited to come to you on this evening. If you don't know, my name is Shanice Wise, and I am a business expansion coach and strategist, a global business expansion coach and strategist. And I'm excited because tonight I have a special video I want to bring to you where I am interviewing one of my clients, and she is absolutely amazing in her own right. She's doing her own thing. She has some amazing things going on right now. Um, all right, so let me make sure I got us all the way together as I introduce to you. Let me make sure I got the video and everything together as I introduce to you my client. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, I want to introduce to everyone Angela Z. Davis. And I've known Angela for many years now. I've known her, grown to absolutely adore her. And I'm excited about the movement that she's creating. So tonight I wanted to bring it to all of you to be able to share what she's doing, especially the route that she's taking in order to share her story, share her voice, all that good stuff. So again, I have a special interview this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're watching from, with one of my clients who's been my client for a while. Her name is Angela Z. Davis, and Angela is a domestic violence recovery strategist. Domestic violence recovery strategist, okay? And I'm gonna just kind of share with you, she became the author that she's been working very hard, a book that she just wrote. It's more of a workbook to help women who have come out of domestic violence situations and they're trying to figure out what's next. So I'm going to read to you her bio really quickly, and then we're going to just kind of do a Q&A and vibe and talk and do all that good stuff. So Angela, why don't you tell everyone hello?
Hello, hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you this evening.
Yay, yay,
Happy
yay.
Wednesday. Yes.
All right, so yes, let me read this and then I will continue to dive in. So Angela Z. Davis is an empowerment speaker, author, entrepreneur, and domestic violence recovery strategist. She educates and empowers women who have transitioned out of abusive relationships and are ready for new beginnings. And I want to say this to all of you. This may not pertain to you, but I promise you there's someone that's on your page that it pertains to. So share this video, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, because domestic violence is serious. And especially right now, everybody's home is not the best home to be, in for COVID-19. So share, 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 share. So let me continue. She teaches strategies and shares resources that help women get their finances in order, set goals for the future, and strive for growth in the job place. Angela provides the tools necessary for them to become strong role models for their children and deal with tolerations and healthy boundaries. Through personal development, Angela helps women find out what really makes them happy and to trust their own feelings again with confidence. Angela is a devoted mother, daughter, sister, auntie, good friend, and a Christian woman. Her mission is to be a blessing to everyone she meets, to change thousands of women and young girls' lives through education and empowerment. Angela is the CEO and founder of Boss Girls Belief, and you can go to the website bossgirlbelief.com. And she is the author of Believe in Yourself, Believe plus Change equals Empowerment. And it says, this book will help you identify if you're in an abusive relationships and really the steps to get out. Okay, the steps to get out. So again, everyone, leave in the comment section, throw up some hearts, some stars, thumbs up as we welcome Angela Jones to our Facebook Live. So again, Angela, thanks for joining us on this evening. Please share with everyone what made you first and foremost write a book like this that shares your life.
Yes, well, welcome once again. Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Shanice, for allowing me this platform to be able to share, to educate and empower women and young girls. How did this book come about? Well, I grew up in a home that was pretty stable. Both my parents were there, they worked and whatnot too. But as I grew up and started to date and whatnot too, I realized that relationships aren't always that nice at times too. And sometimes the people that you're involved with aren't always as honest and they're kind of deceitful at times too. And so when I was growing up in my household, I never saw, well, I have two older brothers and one's 15 years older than me and the other one's just 2 years older than me. And so because my oldest brother is so much older than me, I really never saw him date. You know what I'm saying? He dated, but I was a toddler when he was out there dating. And then my youngest brother, who's also older than me, I never really saw him play the games that guys play. I never saw him have 2 and 3 girlfriends. I never saw him be deceitful and conniving. And so I really didn't know that guys did stuff like that too. And so, my parents were very, very loving. They were very stable. We always ate breakfast together. We always ate dinner together. And so, I never saw anything like that in any of my relationships, whether in my family or friends or whatnot too. And so domestic violence was not something that I saw on a regular basis. And so let's be clear though, domestic violence does not have a demographic. It does not have an ethnic origin. It can happen to anyone, that's for sure too. And so as I grew up and I began to be in relationships and whatnot too, I found a lot of heartache in a lot of my relationships too. Gentlemen were not honest. They were kind of deceitful. They just played a lot of games. And I'm thinking, what is going on with this? And so I found myself, unfortunately, in 2 failed marriages. And so because of what was going on, and I came out of that prayerfully on the other side, I caught on the opposite wall of fire. I said, I cannot just sit on what I've learned. I cannot sit on what I've learned. And I know there are other women out there, other young girls that are out there that have gone through and are going through what I went through. So I was like, I know I can't save the world, but I can definitely reach the masses. So how can I possibly reach the masses? And so I've got to be able to put what I've learned in writing so that my book can reach more people that I don't know other people that, like the woman next to the woman next to the woman next to the woman and the girl, that type of thing too. So I wanted to reach the masses. And so because of that, and because I survived and I knew it was so important, because women are actually, and young girls are in unhealthy relationships. I see it all the time. Women are actually dying at the hands of their intimate partners. And it's like, how can we possibly stop this? There's signs, there are traits of an unhealthy personality and a controlling, manipulative personality style. And so I know those traits. I've learned those traits. I've lived those traits. I can't just sit on this. I need to share this. I need to tell people, what to look for, red flags all over the place. I need to share with them and educate and empower them about the red flags, about what an unhealthy relationship looks like, but then also too, what a healthy relationship looks like, because it's very, very possible. And so that's what kind of brought me to write my book, because my upbringing it wasn't perfect, but it was very stable. I had a very, very loving home, very stable home, never saw any of that craziness going on too. But when I got to be older and found myself in relationships, that craziness was there. I'm like, how is that even happening? And so I know some women, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, going back to, no, that's good. Going back to what led you to your unhealthy marriage? What led you to that? And what could you have done to not have gone that route? Were there signs for you that said, "Oh, Angela, be cautious. Ooh, that might not be the right direction to take. Oh, he's a little manipulative." What did you ignore that you should have paid attention to?
Well, unfortunately, the signs were there, and many of us see the signs and we ignore those signs. So it's kind of like, that little baby, when the baby is crying and they have that innate sense, like, okay, that's not a good person. We still have that as adults, but we choose to ignore that. And so the signs were there. And then even my body was telling me different signs were there, extreme headaches, stomach aches, them wanting me to do one thing, but I'm just knowing that's not the right thing too. But that controlling, manipulative personality style will become overpowering. They say, X, Y, and Z to kind of like buffer and, just kind of like be very deceitful about what's really going on. And so the signs were definitely there. The signs were there, but not to say that I ignored the signs. I saw the signs, but allowed what they were saying to me choose me to choose differently and go against what I really knew best, and found myself in situations where I was like, really not
So
good.
what's the type of, I mean, let's get deep, because I'm sure that there's someone that is watching that may either be seeing those signs and ignoring them, or they're already in there and they're trying to figure out how to get out. Angela, what made you different? How did you get out of your domestic violence situation? Um, how did you get on what you call the opposite wall of fire? What gave you the confidence? I know I asked like five questions all in one, but what gave you the confidence to get out?
Um, Good question. It took me to a very dark place several times, where I didn't believe in myself too. I really thought that I was stuck and it's just gonna how my life is gonna be. But then again, I'm a Christian woman and I believe in reading the word. And I also protect my circle of influence. It's really important to have people around you that believe in you, that are positive, that you can definitely share with them in confidence, and they not tell all your business, but share with you in confidence, and they definitely have a heart to heart with you and say, what, though, girl, you deserve so much better. And just really, really share with you the affirmations about yourself to say, though, you can definitely do better. You don't deserve that. The Bible says, this is how a man's supposed to treat a woman. If he's not doing that, then and you deserve so much better than that. And so what gave
So
me
was
the
there a lot of people telling you that you deserve better? Were there, like
yes,
what was it?
yeah, my close group of friends too, and then just even myself knowing, like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. Because I
Mhm.
knew that I did not bring this on. I knew that I did not, you know, sometimes women think that, oh, I made them mad and because I did X, Y, and Z, that's why you acted like that. No, no. They should be able to control themselves better, but if they can't, then you don't belong there. You deserve better than that too. And so just and I share with them too, like, most people that are abusive, let's
Mhm.
be real.
Mhm.
Bottom line, they're cowards. They're
Mhm.
straight cowards. They're
For sure.
straight cowards. And they want to find someone to abuse and control. And so that really intimidated me for a long time. And it was this like big wall of fire, red flame. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I want so much to be on the opposite wall of that fire. But I'm like, I don't want to get burnt. I know if I get burnt, oh my gosh, that's just not gonna be good. And so, but just the more.
What do you mean if you get burnt? Because you were already in a situation where you were getting burnt. So how, like getting on the opposite side, how would that burn you?
Well, they were very intimidating, saying if because I used to voice, okay, well, I'm out of here, I don't deserve this. You need to go, but
Mhm.
then they become more controlling, they become more intimidating, more physically and verbally abusive, that type thing too. And so to try and put that fire out and to keep from getting burnt some more, I was like, okay,
I'll just
okay.
stay. I'll just stay.
Yeah, I just kind of like pacify for a minute too. But I knew I wanted to be on the other side. And just like fire, nobody wants to get burnt through fire. So I mean, I knew that if I got to the other side, it would be physically harmful, but I was willing to take that chance. But the thing I found is that the closer I got to that wall of fire, get on the other side, the
Mhm.
fire wasn't even that hot. It was
Mhm.
hot air, just hot air.
So what
And
do you
so the
mean?
more
What do you mean?
they just talking, they're just talking that stuff. And so with me reading my word, having my strong circle of influence around me, And just knowing deep down inside, I don't deserve this. And I'm not going to live the rest of my life like this. I said, I'm in the healthcare field. And I said, this sort of stress will take me out of here sooner than anything else, too. Heart disease, diabetes, stress, heart attack,
Mhm.
aneurysm. I'm just like, no. This is not how I'm trying to leave out this world. I want to live a long life. And if I
Mhm.
continue to stay in this situation, I'm not going to live much longer.
So what would you have done if you didn't have this strong group of people? Because there are women out there that don't have positive people that's in their ear. There's women out there that don't have a support system, and I know you're not a psychologist, psychiatrist, you're not, I know that you're a strategist with helping people after they've come through. But you looking at it, if you didn't have that support system, like what do you do?
Yeah. I journaled a lot. I wrote things down, and I began to write down my dreams, what I really, really wanted. Even if no one else was around me, I started to write down what my dreams were. And within those dreams, I realized that, I don't deserve this. I started to dream again. I started to write down my dreams. And within writing down my dreams, I began to get that belief inside myself that, what, though, I can definitely achieve this. I've got to
So
achieve that. There's also,
what if the person, yes, everyone can write, but what if they don't know to write? So they don't have the right people around them. They don't know to write. Like, what do they do? Are there specific locations they can contact? Are there people that they can call? Like, what are their other options? And prayerfully, this helps someone that's listening. And those of you that are listening, give me some thumbs up, some hearts. Let me know that you're here, because we want to make sure not only do I want to share Angela's story and the reason she was led to write her book, but I also want this message to help someone who is dealing with what Angela has dealt with, or maybe about to go into something and they're not paying attention. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So, Angela, it's easy for you to say right because you wrote.
Mhm.
But what about the person who can't write? What about the person who is getting beat up on a daily basis? What
Mhm.
about the person who is afraid for her children and her life? What can she do?
There are resources out there. There's a domestic violence recovery center. So 1-800 number two. You can call the rape crisis center. They have 1-800 numbers too. 911 help. You can go to your local police station and let them know what you're going through. I went to a police station several years ago too because I had to get out, and they took me to a recovery house. They took me to a home that was secluded, and the first rule was you must not tell anyone where this location is. And so until I would take that location to my grave, no one to this day knows where that location is, because that kept me safe during
Mm.
that time. It kept me safe during that time. So you can definitely go to your local police station. You can definitely call the 1-800 number for the Rape Crisis Center. You can definitely call the Domestic Violence Advocacy Center. Those have 1-800 numbers that you can reach out to them. They will give you resources and tools on what to do. Sometimes you just need to talk. Talk to them. They'll definitely kind of give you resources. They won't give you advice, but they'll give you resources and be a listening ear for you. And then have someone that you can definitely confide in, and even have them to do like a little secret code word. If you're talking on the phone with a friend or a family member and you're in trouble, say, girl, I need my cookies, or give them a secret code word within the conversation so they know that though you are in trouble, so they can either send the police or they can just come over with their friends and say, hey girl, we were just coming over to see about you, that type of thing too. So you know that's a good point too. So yeah, there are other resources out there that they can definitely reach out to, but definitely you can go right to your local police station. And
Now,
I have a paper trail too.
are these resources in your book?
Yes, they are. Yes, they
Okay.
are. Those resources are definitely in my book. Absolutely.
Okay. So, is there a child involved? Was there a child involved, as you were trying to transition out of your situation?
Yes, it was. Yes.
So, talk to the audience about getting out of a domestic violence situation, running and going to get help, and then you have a little one.
Okay. Um, the first time I had wanted to try and separate myself from my husband at the time too. My son was very, very small, and so I left him at my mom's for almost about 3 weeks. And so I was able to transition out too, but just because of the controlling manipulative personality style with the talking and how they do, I allowed them to come back and whatnot too. And so
You let them
yes,
go, and then you let them come back.
right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And that's just real talk because it happens. And so most people don't know that it takes a woman at least 7 or 8 times for to actually leave that relationship. 7 or 8 times. It's not just the first time, because people on the outside say, girl, if he hit me once, I'll be out of there. It's not quite that easy. Honestly, I even said the same thing myself when I was growing up because, I didn't have that sort of environment. That was not what I lived. That's not what I saw. That's not what I learned. And so, but then, I'm find myself in a situation and I'm like, okay, it's not quite that easy to do. And so, it was a lot of, my son and I are very, very bonded. I have a very handsome and smart 9-year-old. And so, I knew also too, that if I did not remove myself from this unhealthy situation, that my son could very well lose his mom at an early age,
Mm,
you know, and, he could grow up to do the exact same thing because children live what they learn.
right.
They learn that, and he'll end up doing the same thing because that's the only model that he's seen. And so I knew that I had to change that for generations to come.
So tell everyone, thank you for, sharing your story. And I'm sure that there's some more that you could possibly share. And I'm sure that, you could definitely get deeper. And, I will only push as deep as you desire to go and what you'd like to share. But share with everyone when you come on the scene. So you are a domestic violence recovery strategist. You're not a therapist. You're not, people don't need to come to you to lay on the couch.
Right.
When do you step in as the recovery strategist, and what do you help people do?
Okay. Well, I definitely help young girls and women. We want to start
When do you come in to help?
as far as the women is concerned too, once they've transitioned out of the relationship too, and they are no longer involved with that person. And involved is truly like, living with that person, no longer physically involved. Because we have to be clear, you could be in your separate places, but if you're still physically involved with that person, still intimate, then that's one of the ways to lure you back in. So there must be boundaries put in place to definitely not have that. If there are children involved too, there has to be set boundaries for visitation, for the time that they can definitely call. Don't come calling me at 11 o'clock at night to ask
Hmm.
me anything.
Hmm.
No, I had set boundaries for that too. After 8:30, we're done talking. You
Hmm.
can talk to your son before he goes to bed, but after that, we have really nothing to talk about because I'm not trying to have you think that you can call me at late hours and because then one thing with that type of personality style, one thing leads to another because the thinking is very challenging, definitely very challenging. And
So you
so,
step on the scene once the person, they've gone through therapy, they've gone through all of that, and now they're no longer tied, even if
right,
they have a child.
right,
um, you set boundaries there. So you come on the scene after all of that, right?
hmm
So
and
what
we
do you
definitely
help
help.
people transition and do?
Yeah, we help them with personal development. Because a lot of times too, we can be physically out of that and emotionally out of that too. But if we don't do the personal work within ourselves, we'll find ourselves back in that same situation, either with that same person or somebody different, because we haven't done the personal work. So I definitely help with the personal development, help with the goal setting, help with the I am part. That's one thing that you really, really great with helping me with too, what is powerful, what comes after the I am.
Hmm.
That's that personal development that you really want to work on, and that internal part too. Talk about goal setting, different things, how to put certain boundaries in place. Because sometimes you're like, if he's still calling, he's still just coming over at any point in time he wants without calling, then that can be a problem. And so just teaching them different things to put in place for that. And so just helping them to get their independence again, helping them put certain boundaries in place, helping them get more solid in their finances, the workplace, so they definitely are independent and not depending on that person, but then also too helping shift their mindset. So it's like, what though, I'm okay, I'm good. I'm good. But then also too just trusting on higher power to say, though, he's gonna take care of you. He's gonna take care of you. He will never leave you, forsake you. And so it's, a lot of times too, he'll speak to us, but we don't listen.
Hmm.
And then so, okay, I'm sorry. I should have listened. I know.
So you help with strategies and systems in regards to personally developing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
picking up the pieces once they've gone through their transformation and now they're out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure out what their independence looks like. They're trying to figure out what the next steps are that they need to take.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure out how to manage their money. They're trying to figure out, if they're in the right job or do they need to look for. So you're helping them personally develop and mentally shift after
Right.
they've gone through all of their therapy. Now,
Exactly.
are can you work with them at the same time that they're going working with their therapist, or do you prefer once they're all the way done?
Mm, prefer once they're all the way done because that can be very, very tricky. What's that saying? So it's like, why is the dog sitting on a nail? Why is he hollering because he's sitting on a nail? Well, I guess it just doesn't hurt enough, because he's still sitting on a nail, but he hasn't had the gumption enough to move,
So
so
saying they come to you when they are totally done. There's no
mhm,
option, there's no issue, there's no them coming, sliding in, booty call, none of that. They're
right,
totally done. Okay,
right,
and you're
right,
helping them cover their life. So I was looking in your book, which I'm so excited, about. I know you have been in my coaching program. Gosh, we've been coaching together for about 2.5 years.
yeah,
And I know you started developing this book about a year ago. And I'm
mhm,
so excited to walk this path with you as you have developed this book and you just getting it out here, sharing your stories. So as I was going through the book, I know we talked about more of a workbook, which, I always believe in, doing a workbook because when people actually do the work, it helps them remember it.
right,
Talk to us about the different activities that are in your book, Believe in Yourself. And I love that title because that's really what it's about, right?
right,
When you go through the recovery process, basically
right.
believing in yourself. So talk to me about what's in here. What type of activities are in your workbook?
Well, for one, it defines the different types of abuse because many people think that it's just the physical abuse and the verbal abuse, but no, there's more than that. There's financial and resourceful abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's sexual abuse, and so there's also verbal abuse. And so I had those definitely those different definitions, excuse me, lined out in the glossary in that brochure too, in the workbook. And I also have different scenarios that are there too. You know,
Okay.
presenting different scenarios are there to identify if this verbal or physical abuse is this financial resourceful. And I had done a workshop with a group of young girls at a high school, and one of the things that her friend said her boyfriend, we should always do, is just always break her phone. And
Mm,
I'm like, okay, you know what though? And he seemed like kind of do it on purpose. And that's more like financial and resourceful abuse. And she didn't know that. If a
mm,
man is not paying child support, that's financial abuse.
mm,
If he is like getting jobs and quitting jobs, getting job and quitting jobs, it's
mm,
not because he can't maintain a job. That's intentional. That's
mm,
financial abuse.
mm. That's
And
deep.
many women don't know that. They don't know that. And so I give different scenarios in the book to definitely help you identify. Because I mean, some of them you might be able to relate to yourself. The reader might be able to relate, like, oh shoot, that happened to me, or that happened really? Okay. And then also kind of transitions to that personal development part. What makes you happy? When I first was given that assignment, what makes me happy? It took me almost an hour to write down what made me happy. And I'm
Mm.
like, that's straight up crazy. I should be able to roll up
About
what makes me
your activity in here on page 17, happiness first.
happy. Yep, happiness first. Because happiness is not an option. It's kind of like a dessert, some people think. No, happiness should be like first and foremost. It's not like an option. Like, okay, well, I'll be happy when this COVID is over. I'll be happy when I can go back to the hairdresser and get my hair done. I'll be happy when, I can definitely do X, Y, and Z what I used to do.
Mhm.
But let's understand too, this is not, for many people, it's not a pleasant time at this time too. But, we want to be able to think about not what we can't do, but think about what we can do. How can we definitely grow and develop, grow where we're planted right now during this environment too. And
I
so,
got
you don't have to wait until it's over to be happy. You can definitely be happy now and start working on that truly.
I love that, and I love this. I got to read. This is out of the activity, happiness first, and it says Angela wrote, "Happiness is a magnet to good health." When you're happy, you want to eat healthy, you want to exercise, you want to gain more energy. When you're happy, you love what you're doing. When you're happy, it's contagious. When you're happy, you attract more clients, you attract positive people in your life, and people want to be in your space, all because of happiness. Be committed to be happy. Be committed to peace of mind. Be committed to joy. Yes, you will have bad days, but because you have joy and you're genuinely happy, you can get through those days and moments quicker.
Mhm.
Energy grows when energy goes. Oh, I love that, Angela. Happiness affects every aspect of your life. When people are not happy, they have this miserable, toxic energy that spreads to those who are around them. It becomes contagious. It's important to know how to tap into your happiness. Happiness has everything to do with things that bring you joy. More importantly, letting go of things that bring you stress. This is awesome. Everybody listening, I'm telling you, the link in the description has the information for Angela and her book, and you can go, you can pay for it. She'll ship it to you. But this right here is really good because just think about it. You may have a friend, you may have a sister, you may have a daughter, you may have a cousin, someone who is dealing with domestic violence. And Angela just really broke that down. Someone not wanting to get a job, that's financial abuse. Someone breaking their self. I mean, like, there are so many different categories of abuse. And I think we group them together and they're not supposed to be grouped together. And
Right.
I am
Right.
sure that as women, we have dealt with, all of us have dealt with some type of abuse, mental, verbal, physical, some type of abuse. So, I mean, definitely it's in the description. Believe in yourself, belief plus change and empowerment. So, Angela, talk to us, share with everyone where you're at now. Share with everyone, you talked about happiness in the book. I mean, there's some other things focusing on you, how to focus on you, dating scenarios that you need to pay attention to, your rights in a relationship. I mean, these are all the things that you've learned. And I know for a fact that you wrote about what you learned. So tell us where you're at right now, being on the other wall of fire, on the other side of fire, right? Did I say that right? No,
Yes. Yeah, the opposite wall of fire. Yes.
opposite. There we go. Opposite. I should know that as much as you say it. So where's Angela's life right now?
Oh my gosh, I am blessed and I am happy. Even in the midst of COVID, I am happy. This has really given me a chance to homeschool my son. Initially it was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? But it's really become a blessing. It's really allowed me to be the teacher that's already deep down inside of me. I've definitely in working both my home-based businesses too. Shanice and I've had the pleasure of working together for many years. We used to be a part of the same direct sales business too. And so she was always phenomenal then. She was a powerhouse then, definitely leading her team to millions of dollars in sales and just helping other ones to really grow and develop. And so I'm so glad to be able to work with you personally on this endeavor too. And so just working my home-based businesses, I do work another essential job too. I did have to kind of shift my careers outside the home because of just the insurance and stuff too. And then COVID hit. So I'm so glad I'm not in that essential job, going into people's homes and going to nursing homes and whatnot too, as a licensed therapist. But I did kind of like change my careers now. So I'm definitely going on to a new career in pharmacy. So I'm excited about that too. I've got both my home-based businesses going to, I'm spending more time with my son. And so my house is a peaceful house. My house is peaceful. I've been able to regain the control that I had lost so many years ago too, and definitely am more confident and more empowered with what I do. Yes, I'm still involved and have to connect with my son's father, because we definitely co-parent and whatnot too. But there's definitely a shift in that too. Definitely a shift in that too, because um, he kind of like knows it's like, you know what though? Okay, I'm gonna get cussed out if I do that.
Like, I'm
So
not
I better not go there.
strong now.
So so and he just knows, there's certain, and I put those boundaries in place too, and it's really, really been a blessing. And so my son is even happier too. And so, it's just been a huge change. And so glad. And so because I'm in this place that I am now, I want to help so many other women get to that point too. I really want to help so many women get to that point too. And so that's why I wanted to write my book. Belief plus change use empowerment. You've got to have that belief deep down inside initially too. And that belief comes, and that's when the change comes. Because when I started to really, really, truly believe that I deserved more, I definitely could have more, that's when the change came. And within that change and educating myself and empowering myself, educating myself and just doing the different steps that I needed to do, that's when empowerment came. And so I want that so much for so many different women too, and young girls as well too. We want to start with, the teenagers and the middle school and the high school, definitely help them what's healthy and what's not healthy too.
Right. It's almost like you want to catch them before they get to a place of,
Mm-hmm.
women coming out of domestic violence situations, high suicide rates.
Mm-hmm.
Children end up turning out to be just like the abuser, and I applaud you for what you have in place. So tell everyone about your program. So you have your book that you've written, right? What
Uh-huh.
about your programs that you have? So once, let's say someone buys your book and they're like, okay, Angela, I have, I want you to actually help me one on one. What do you have out there?
Well, I definitely am doing, one thing with my book launch and with my book that I have now too, you definitely can get a package with my book that includes the book, a very powerful educational um, bookmark, as well as a ticket to the virtual workshop I'm doing in May. My workshop is in May. It's on May 19th, which is on a Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. It is virtual via Zoom. And so once you definitely decide to invest in yourself or invest in this resource for someone else, because it's great for granddaughters, nieces, cousins, your next door neighbor, your stepchildren. We want to start with great conversations with our young people about what's healthy and what's not, because I didn't have all that when I was a kid. I was completely naive about all this craziness going on, because I didn't see that, I didn't experience that. So then as an adult, I found myself involved in stuff. I'm like, what in the world is this really happening? And so we want to catch them early and share with them, this is the real deal, this is what guys do, this is what
Mhm.
happened. So I was in a retail store not too long ago too, and the little cashier that was bringing me out, her little coworker came by and pulled her ponytail,
Mhm.
and she just started chuckling. And I was like, is that your boyfriend? She was like, no, he's just, coworker. I was like, don't let him do that to you again. Pulling your hair is abusive. Don't let him do that. And she was kind of like, really? So there are young girls out here that in relationships that they think, oh, he just playing, or he don't mean nothing by it, but it leads to something. Most abusive relationships don't start off with a black eye. It
Mhm.
starts off with a little bit of verbal, pushing, a little bit of physical tugging and whatnot too. And then it gets to be a little bit harder. They kind of push the envelope to see what you will tolerate. Oh, she
Right.
gonna let me do this? Okay, we're gonna go a little bit harder with this thing. But the young girls don't know that. And so, I have programs in place. I'm definitely a virtual speaker. Even though schools are closed and whatnot too, there are many people out there that have young groups that they are involved with, church groups, youth groups, and
So
whatnot
you're
too.
just looking to work with youth, or are you looking to work with adults as well?
Both. We want to definitely connect with the youth early. You want to definitely help them about build their self-esteem, their self-confidence, help them to speak up for themselves and to know their self-worth. That's really important as young people too. And to teach them what's healthy and what's not healthy in a relationship. Because I kind of knew what was healthy, but I didn't know that the unhealthy part was so much out there too. And
So
so, oh,
what
sorry, my
about for
time.
the adult woman? What about for the adult woman? What do you have? I know you have the workshop coming up. Where can people find a link to the workshop, or do they buy the package? Be clear, explain to people what they need to do.
Yes, they can definitely go to my website, which is www.bossgirlsbelief.com to purchase. It's in the description, and so you can definitely get a personalized note from me if you don't when you go to my website to get that as well too. I do have my workshop in place in May. I am going to be doing workshops every other month, and I also am going to be doing some virtual speaking engagements as well too. I can be a panelist, what if you will, on different platforms and different panelists too. My book, you can get that in a retail store wherever you shop for your books normally. You can definitely get that in that retail store, or you can definitely order it online. If where you normally order your books, if it's not there, you can definitely truly go to them and have them order it for you. All you need is the book title, which is Believe in Yourself, and the author, which is me, Angela Z. Davis. And so got the workshops coming up, different virtual speaking engagements, definitely wanting to work with the young girls. virtually to connect with them and share with them, what they need to know. And also too, working with the women that have transitioned out of that unhealthy relationship too, working with them in different coaching programs, one-on-one. And I am going to be doing a few master classes that are going to be lined out for the rest of the year too. We're going to definitely do some group coaching, but just some more individual work to definitely really, really help them get what they need to be empowered and to be truly, truly independent and to be able to live their best life and to have the life that they so desire and deserve for themselves and for their children.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So everybody listening, before we transition to my next topic really quick, everyone listening, just so you understand, Angela has worked very hard in developing her programs as well as her book. Okay. She's sharing her testimony, sharing her story. And I just believe that the only way that you can teach is when, especially at the level that you need to teach from when it comes to situations like this, is because you have been there. You have been there, you've done it, or you walked with someone else who's been there and she's been there. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse. So if you're watching, if you're listening, and you've already come out of it and you're looking, you need that next step. You find yourself maybe emotional and depressed and wondering if you can get someone else and date someone else and how to pick up the pieces and personally develop and all that type of stuff, please reach out to Angela. And I put her name in the description. You can click on her name, and we can go to her website, Boss Girls Belief, and then get the book. Get the book. And if you know young women, if you're around, if you have a teenage girl, buy the book for her so she can actually go to the workshop, because this is important, especially in this day and age. My heart goes out to the mothers that have lost children because of domestic violence, because we see it in teenagers. My heart goes out to the children who's lost mothers because of domestic violence. And Angela wants to be the person to help stop that. So with that being said, again, it's in the link. Okay, Believe in Yourself by Angela Z. Davis, Domestic Violence Recovery Strategist, Belief plus Change equals Empowerment. So before we leave, Angela, if you could just kind of share with everyone what being a part of, like, first of all, what made you join my coaching program and how has it helped you in regards to getting to where you're at? Brand new author, strategist, got these programs and all these different things going on. What made you join the program? What made you invest in you? And then stay and, I don't know, share whatever you desire to share.
Yes. Well, let me answer one question too. I forgot to share with you too. If someone has a question for me directly and they necessarily might not want to buy the book right now too, or they're not ready to buy the book, they can always go to my website and just leave me a note. Leave me a note and we can definitely have a one-on-one conversation. We can definitely have a one-on-one conversation too. And we can definitely just kind of help you and kind of like set something up for you, do a strategy and a planning session for you too. So I did want to share that too. So what made me join your programs? Oh my gosh. Well, I've known you for many years, Shanice. I consider you a friend, truly. Shanice is one that has really, really helped me do the internal work. Because being a business owner and then definitely getting to the point where I am now is not an easy task. And it just doesn't come just because I made a decision. You know what I'm saying? It comes with some work behind it too. And so she definitely helped me with the internal work, believing in myself too, the power, the part that comes behind the I am. Who you be, who are you really, and so really, really helped me with the I am statements for that too. She really, really helped me with my relationship with money, because I used to have a odd relationship with money, always kind of like a lacking relationship with money. And so really, really Shanice helped me shift my mindset when it came to my relationship with money. She also helped me with my self-awareness. She helped me with an assessment to help me with my self-awareness as far as, who I really wanted to be, what things am I doing, how am I showing up in the world to really, really get to where I want to be. So if I'm not doing this, how can I possibly get to here? So in love, she definitely helped me with that. And so she was the one that kind of let me know I was a procrastinator. I'm like, I don't procrastinate. Yeah, I guess I kind of do because I had the link all week, but I just signed on like 10 minutes before we were supposed to go on. It's like, okay, I guess I am a procrastinator. So, but just those things she definitely does and love. It just helps you be the best that you can definitely possibly be. And so she definitely helps me work on your strengths. You help me work on my strengths, my weaknesses, what opportunities I had with what I want to do, and what threats I might have had. Threats mean that who else is out there that's kind of like doing what I am doing as well, but how can I do it differently? And
Mhm.
so, definitely helping with those things too. But most importantly, because Shanice is, like myself, a woman of strong faith, she definitely stands on those biblical principles to help govern her life personally and professionally. And I've done the same thing as well too. And so, because she is a woman that prays for her friends and prays for her clients, prays for them truly, before we have any session, whether it be individually or in a group session too, she always prays before we get started too. And that makes a big difference, because being a business owner, but just being a woman, being a mother, being a wife, being a better half, it's really important to have that relationship with the higher power in order to be able to be the best that we can possibly be. And so there's no way that, I could possibly reach the masses and not have a connection with the higher power for that thing to guide me and lead me to be able to help them be the best that they can possibly be too. And so I stay because of all those different things, and I've definitely grown personally and professionally with working with Shanice too. And I so appreciate her for all that she's definitely poured into me. And, she's an awesome friend. She's an awesome business coach. She's an awesome mom, wife. I've definitely seen her stories too. And I'm just inspired. She definitely has inspired me to definitely help be the best that I can be too. And so I truly, truly love and appreciate you, Shanice. You know,
Oh,
so she's just totally awesome, just totally awesome. And so just really, really helping that. She's helped me build my brand, build an unstoppable brand. So, it's not just something to do like for now, but this is about leaving a legacy. We want to be able to leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. And so we just don't want to go to work every day, 8 to 5, and then just, when we retire, that's it. It stops. We want to be able to leave a legacy so the money keeps going. So that, even when you're not here, your babies are taken care of. My baby's gonna be taken care of because of what I've learned and what I'm growing. I want that so much for other women too, to be able to leave a legacy for themselves and their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. So absolutely. So I hope I answered your question.
no, that's wonderful. I mean, I'm just excited for you. I'm excited that you took the time to invest in yourself, which most people will not, and you invested at a high level and you still continue to invest in yourself. And just to see your book come to fruition, there's so many people out there who desire to be authors and then they'll just throw things out there. But I've watched your work and I've watched your development and us going back and forth and, looking at your book and editing it and just everything. I'm just excited for you. I'm excited about the woman that you have become, and I'm excited about you as being a mother to Xavier and just the things that you're teaching him now as a business owner.
Mhm.
And I keep using the word excited because I really, really am excited. As soon as Angela emailed me and said, Shanice is done, I got it done. You may have texted me or emailed me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I already knew that we had to come on here so we can begin to share your story and begin
Thank
to
you so
share your
much.
book, because I just believe that everyone knows someone who has been affected by domestic violence and or some type of abuse. And
Mhm.
I'm excited that you're sharing your story because what has happened to you is not for you. And I always say this, it's for someone else.
Right,
It's
right,
for
right.
someone else's life. So Angela, I am super proud of you.
Thank
Um, grateful that you had chose me to be your business coach. And I know sometimes I'm hard on you, but I see the potential. I see the gift that God has put inside of you. And I'm going to keep pulling it out until God says stop. So thank you
you.
so much for joining me today and for just being here, being an amazing client, being an amazing friend. And I know that there are so many big blessings that are headed
Mhm.
your way just because
Yeah.
you're choosing to do what you do. So, any last words that you want to share with the audience as we close out?
Yes, well, thank you so much once again for allowing me this opportunity, Shanice, to be able to share and to be a blessing to so many too. The package is going to still be available from now until April 30th. And so I want to be a blessing and definitely just do that too. So I just really encourage you all to go to my website. Like Shanice said, if it's not for you, you know someone else can definitely be a blessing for, and especially for a young person. You know, obtain this resource and have a conversation with them about that. Go through this book with them to help them during this time, because it's a great time to be able to do this because we're kind of sitting still more. This is a great time to be able to find out what they're thinking, what they've been going through, that type thing too. And so I wanted to extend that the package and the resource to the end of the month. And then definitely if you are a part of a youth group or a young adult organization to reach out to me. Let me know. Go to my website, put your information in the chat box or in the shop section too, or the contact section too, and let's start a conversation. How we can definitely set some things up to virtually impact more lives with these young girls and these young women to be able to help empower them. So, I definitely am a virtual speaker. I'll be glad to be able to connect with them, but it's all about saving their life, if not their life, the life of someone that they know. Definitely have my workshops in place too. And just I want to encourage you all to truly grow where you're planted. Use this time not to think, oh my gosh, what I can't do, but think about what I can do. How can I definitely make some positive changes for myself and for my children during this time? And so one thing I did learn is that, I can't verbalize when I was in the situation too, what I was doing, because when I verbalized it, it made things a little bit harder. So, keep it quiet, you know, make your plan, what I'm saying? And when the time is right, it will definitely come to fruition too. Because, they try and sabotage. It will try and sabotage and make things harder for you too. But just start working on that personal development right now, where you want to be, truly, where you want to be. What sort of life do you want to be a year from now? Where you want you and your children to be a year from now, 5 years from now too. And so think about those things too. And let's start working on some personal development too. And reach out to me, because I'd be glad to reach out to you and to connect with you and to be able to help you get to be where you want to be. So truly believe plus encouragement, empower, it equals empowerment. And I'd be glad to work with you too. So
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, the link for the book as well as the website is in the description. If you have any questions, concerns, definitely reach out to Angela, or you can reach out to me and I'll get you connected to Angela. And I pray that this interview has been a blessing to you. So thanks, Angela, and thank you, everybody, for
thank you.
joining in.
All right.